Welcome back to another videos. Join us for the latest news, insights, and updates on the Iraqi dinar. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Let's explore the world of the Iraqi dinar together. MARKZ is addressing a question about the distinction between banks and redemption centers in the context of a financial process likely involving currency exchanges or similar transactions. He clarifies that banks and redemption centers are essentially the same thing for this purpose. Redemption centers are not separate entities but are specific bank locations that have been designated to handle these specialized exchanges. The statement mentions that 90% of Americans will have access to an exchange location within a 50-mile radius of their homes. This suggests that the infrastructure for these exchanges is quite extensive and has been set up to ensure that most people will not have to travel far to complete their transactions. However, for those living in more remote, rural areas, it's implied that they may need to travel further than 50 miles to reach a designated exchange location. MARKZ admits that he is not sure about how this will work in other countries, indicating that his information is specific to the United States and might not be applicable elsewhere. This mention of exchange centers being bank locations equipped with special staff and tools gives insight into a carefully planned process where the banks involved are well prepared to manage what might be complex transactions. This could indicate a level of security and professionalism intended to ensure the exchanges are conducted smoothly and efficiently. It also points to the idea that these aren't ordinary, everyday bank activities, but rather something more specialized, possibly involving large sums of money, foreign currencies, or some form of asset redemption that requires particular attention and expertise. The fact that 90% of the population is expected to have access to one of these exchange centers within 50 miles emphasizes the scale of the operation. It suggests significant logistical planning has gone into ensuring that people across the country can easily participate. This is not just a service being offered in major urban centers but also something that reaches into more suburban and even some rural areas. However, the mention of rural areas having fewer options implies that people living in those regions may need to put in more effort to reach one of these centers. This could be a potential challenge for some, as distance and transportation could become barriers, particularly in extremely remote areas. MARKZ's remark about being unsure of the situation in other countries also opens up a broader discussion about how these types of financial processes are handled on a global scale. While the infrastructure seems well defined for the US, other countries might not have the same level of access or may handle these transactions in different ways. Some countries might have similar setups with designated banks handling specialized exchanges, while others could rely on different financial institutions or systems. The lack of clarity on this point leaves room for speculation about how seamless the process might be for people living outside of the US. In summary, MARKZ is explaining that the terms banks and redemption centers are being used interchangeably in this context, and that specific bank locations have been set up to handle these exchanges. The majority of Americans will be able to access one of these locations within a reasonable distance from their homes, although those in more remote areas may need to travel further. The situation in other countries remains uncertain, and the infrastructure might vary depending on the location. This setup seems to reflect a well-organized effort to manage what could be a large and potentially complex process involving trained personnel and specialized equipment. Thanks for watching Iraqi Dinar. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share our videos. Your support keeps our channel going. Stay curious, and see you in the next one.